Stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone. This is Monday, November 18th. If you have any questions or anything during the proceedings, during a vote, I'll always try to give time for your comments and questions before our vote is taken. At the public comment, I ask you to keep it to 3 minutes, if you would, please. Can we have the roll, please?
Mayor Cedar?
Here.
Councilmember Gottler?
Here.
Councilmember Kufa?
Here.
Councilmember Laporte?
here.
Councilmember Paul?
Present.
Councilmember Volk?
Here.
Councilmember Watt?
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I'm going to ask to add under new business, letter C, sewer rehabilitation program. I'll need a motion to do that.
So moved.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's go to consent agenda 4A, City Council minutes, November 4, 2024, regular meeting recommendation approved. E is the Golf Commission minutes of September 10th, 2024, meeting recommendation received. And the Cemetery Trustees, October 1, 2024, meeting recommendation received.
Motion to approve A, B, and C as presented.
All right, motion made. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So number 5, Mr. Bishop, you got anything?
I do. I have a few things tonight. First off, I'd just like to say to anybody that was out on opening day, and just to provide safety for all the hunters who are out there and all the drivers who are out on the road. Bucks are running hard. Not as many bucks after opening day, but they're still running pretty hard. And just be mindful of the roadways where you're going to and from. This is Michigan and it is deer hunting season. Just as a quick story too, took Friday off and I spent the opening day with my boys. We were in the woods. And we do it old school. We just hucker in on a pine tree and sit underneath the pine all day long, and it was cool. And got to use an old-timey compass. I taught my 10-year-old how to use that, and got my boy his buck call, and he got to use on that. So it was a lot of fun. So anybody hunters out there, just continue to be safe. Season's going to run through November 30th. It's just important everybody knows not only safety precautions, but they're running hard out there.
How many deer did you get?
It's not about the kill; it's about the hunt, Mayor. So.
Okay, next.
So, no, I want to give a quick update on Gulf Street. They wrapped up, folks at Aztec wrapped up on Gulf Street. There is a touchy corner for me, though, and I'm going to be keeping an eyeball on. That's the corner of Palmer and Gulf. I'm going to watch that drain. They tell me that with restoration, that water won't run as hard if that grass grows, but I'm not just quite convinced of it yet. There's a drain catch basin right there at the edge of it. And so we have a big rain. If we get some wash down, I think it's going to cover it. And I think it's going to cover the ramp. And if it is, they're going to have to go back and they built it to engineer specs. And I've talked with AEW, and they understand that if it doesn't hold, it's going to be with them to replace. But that's the one area I want to make sure we're watching on that one. I want to talk about the bike path real quick. We've had some as you can see, construction obviously on the retaining wall. Some steps were replaced. Driveways were widened. Approaches were widened. Some cement was laying down. I want to say that we're going to be going back. Asphalt plants are still open. I mean, surprisingly, this is unseasonably warm for this late November, but the asphalt plants are still open. They're going to be finishing out that. And I do not have an exact date when they're going to be back on site, but I know that they still have to come back. And then obviously restoration is still something that I'm holding on to make sure that is done absolutely proper before they leave. In addition to that, here's one that we've been waiting for. I don't see Frank and Melissa here tonight because they're going to ask me about garbage cans, but those garbage cans are supposed to be deployed on December 2nd. Now, this is what we need to do between now and December 2nd, and we're going to be working closely with administration to get some words out to the public. Everybody in cities scheduled for 94 gallons, unless they request a 64-gallon tote. Now, if they want to request it, we're going to create a master list for waste management. We're going to submit that to them, and then they're going to change it out. So what's going to happen? They're going to deploy them, and somebody's going to go, I don't want this big thing. Either I can't handle it, or it doesn't fit quite right on the side of my house, whatever the reason. I've already communicated with the representative from Waste Management. We can replace those as needed. So I just said, just expect that somebody's going to request a 64-gallon after the fact, and they're going to be okay with that.
Do we get two 94s, one for
Regular trash, you want for recycle?
No, just you're gonna get your single 94, and then you're gonna have a recycling bin. They consider that much light. It's just a tote for the recycling.
That's what we have now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but what's gonna change though is, where people are gonna place them. They're gonna have to get used to them for a little while, and they're gonna have to handle them. They're carts, and if you're not used to handling a cart like that, it could be difficult for them. So I expect once the deployment goes out, we're gonna have a lot of changeover in the short run. And then the spring comes, and we're gonna have a bunch of spring cleanouts, and they're really gonna get a taste for what that's like. But what I requested, and this was as of today, I request that Waste Management send us all the literature on all the cans that they have and everything that they would need to know on how to not only handle them, when they're going out, what's the proper way to put them at the curb, what direction should they face for the truck to come and pick them up. There's a little method to the madness, and so I want to make sure we get the people as much information as possible. Like I said, I'll be working with administration. We'll put some social media posts out there, get some people aware of what's coming and how it's going to be deployed. But once they start, I expect them to roll right around that first week of December. Okay? That's all I have for this evening for right now. I'm going to talk about the sewer rehabilitation program later on in the agenda.
Any questions from Mr. Bishop?
I have one. Do you have any expectation of dates and we're going to see some drawings for Cox Road sidewalk?
Yes, I do, actually. Specs are being built right now, so the bid letting is going out in February of 2025. Construction should start in April and wrap up early summer. So we will see that spec fully engineered and designed. I'm going to say sometime in January, because the bid's going out, the spec's going out in February.
Okay, so we'll get a chance to look at those and make sure that they're to our liking, what we're looking for and in that process as well.
Oh, yeah,
I
we'll
haven't
get
seen
it to-
anything in a long time.
Yeah, we'll get an opportunity to do that. And actually, as a matter of fact, I can reach back out to Ryan to make sure, as he comes up, even a draft form, get it to us. And if he can come and present it, I wouldn't even mind inviting him here just to present the whole thing and maybe put something on the big screen for everybody.
That would be great.
Educate some folks.
Yep.
We also know too, and just so everybody knows, this Wednesday at noon, all townships across the state, they hand over their power. It's different than other municipalities in government. So St. Clair Township is going to be transitioning their power to the new board and trustees. And this is this Wednesday, the 20th at noon. And so shortly after that, the new supervisor and trustees have already reached out to the township, and I've asked to have a meeting and sit down just to bring everybody up to speed. But because it's a shared jurisdictional project, I want to make sure they're in lockstep with what's happening. And so that might not even be bad that we can kind of coordinate all that at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Get Ryan here and show him some stuff, but take care of the school district, take care of the township, take care of the city in one shot.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'll get that done. I'll get it done.
Anything else from Mr. Bishop? Mr. Downey, he has nothing tonight. Any city departments?
Yes, Your Honor, I have a report today. Results for the November 5th, 2024 general election can be found at stclaircountyclerk.org. That link is also on our city website. Early voting and election day went very smooth for us here. Thank you to all the election inspectors and other city departments for their parts. I'm very lucky to have such a dedicated team here. For the general election, we have 31 election inspectors appointed, plus 3 authorized assistants at City Hall. The St. Clair Police Department Public Safety Volunteers also graciously donated their time on Election Day to help with traffic control at City Hall, because we do have the 2 wards here. However, because of the high early voter turnout and the absentee turnout, there really wasn't a traffic or a parking issue on Election Day, so that was great news. But thank you to all of those volunteers, especially Chris Kuchenmeister, who organized them for me. Overall, we had a 74% voter turnout, and it was roughly 25% early voting, 25% absentee voting, 25% election day, and then 25% non-voters. But it was a great day. Everything turned out great. Thank you to everyone who had a part in that. For our local race of mayor and council members, once the election is officially canvassed by the county and the state, all elected members will be officially notified to attend the Monday, January 6th, 2025 meeting. Our mayor and council are elected for 2-year terms that begin on January 1st of their term year, and all elected officials will take their oath on that day on January 6th. And the mayor pro tem will also be chosen amongst the members. Congratulations to all candidates and to those elected. Aside from elections, several boards and commissions memberships expire December 31st of this year, so those recommendations for appointments and reappointments will be made at the December meetings. Council member representation on those boards will be recommended in January. And local business license renewal applications are in process, and the completed Form M payments are due by December 31st to avoid a late penalty fee. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Good job. Chief?
Mayor, Council, just real quick, Devin Strzelecki was here last meeting, and I just want to make two comments. Number one, a lot of what he said is not truthful. And number two, I do background checks, and there is not a felon working at Burgett Towing. And the one thing he forgot to tell you all is he doesn't tow for Port Huron, he doesn't tow for the sheriff, he doesn't tow for Marysville, he doesn't tow for Marine City, he can't tow for the state police. So it's not St. Clair PD picking on him. He doesn't tow for any police agency in this county. So just so you know that. All right.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody else? Let's go to D, authorities, boards, commissions, committee chairs, council reps. Anybody have anything? No unfinished business, new business. A, approved recommendation by Recreation Commission, Collective Park, water play, contract approval, trees.
Thank you. On behalf of the City of St. Clair Recreation Commission, we would like to make a recommendation. We've made a selection of a vendor for our splash pad at Collective Park. The vendor name is Waterplay. And to fulfill any of the bidding process, Waterplay is a registered member of Sourcewell, which is a government cooperative purchasing program. And our rec commission, we are working with Waterplay. This is our final design that we are recommending. And you can see here, we have over almost 30 components as part of the splash pad. And they are kind of in zones, although it's for all ages. There is a more of an interactive zone here with some soft water features. And then we have a dumping element at the other end, shooting cannons and other features on there. So we're pretty excited about that. I do have some other views of the splash pad just to take a look at. And then also in your council packet, we included the cost estimate, which is within our budget that we received our sponsorship from Cargill. I'll kind of go back. But we, as a rec commission, we wanted to add a couple more spray features and this topper here, the Daisy May topper. So the cost estimate was adjusted from what you had in your packet. It's $301,919. And I will comment, you see in the cost estimate, there's a installation cost there. And we have the option to use local contractors and also in-kind services, especially for the excavating, the grading, and hopefully we'll have a local contractor that we'll use for the contract. So we can negotiate and hopefully bring that price down. And just for your information too, the city of Richmond just installed a splash pad, and they also selected the same vendor, Waterplay. And we are working with Great Lakes Recreation, which is, they're located in Holland. They're our representative on behalf of the project. And if you have any questions, ideally, if we can get this approved as our vendor, we can order yet this year and have groundbreaking in the spring.
Reese, has this been designed so that down the road, if it really is a success like we think it's going to be, could we add on to this somehow or something?
Some of the spray features are ground level, so you can add an above ground component. So some of these, especially like here, there, the other one down there, you can add something above ground. So they're there, you can cap them, you can, like I said, add to it.
As far as footprint, is there an expansion if you wanted to double the size of the overall?
I mean, there's always a possibility that we could add on to it in some way, making the pad bigger or adding some additional elements to the splash pad. But we're pretty happy with the design. We think we're utilizing the entire space.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the contract of water play to the tune of $301,119. Is that the number I heard?
Yes.
919? 301,919?
No, one, I thought.
Let me check. 919. Yes.
919.
919.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
All right, the motion made, supported, questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Stadler?
Yes.
Stupa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Yes.
Bowles?
Yes.
Watt?
Definitely yes.
Cedar?
A lot of work.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Therese.
And then I had one other announcement
Yeah.
regarding Kletcher Park. The Frank, Nancy, and Spike Moore Family Fund has donated to our Kletcher Park project in the amount of $110,000
Wow.
for the improvements to the baseball field. So we're very excited about that.
Good to hear that.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I can just add something while you're up there, Therese. I've had the benefit of sitting on that commission with these guys, and they work hard, diligent. I mean, if you've ever put in a splash pad before, you can go to your own records and say, hey, this is what I did, but this is something new that they've gone through, and they've been fantastic to work with, and this is going to be a great addition for St. Clair. Not only the splash pad, but the playground,
Ball
doing
field.
Kletcher Field, the
Yeah.
pickleball courts, the whole thing. It's gonna be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you,
All
Therese.
right, thank you.
Okay, Chief B is the special event for St. Clair Chamber of Commerce Christmas Market and Carriage Rides.
Yes, Mayor, Council, the Chamber has all their paperwork in for their Christmas market and carriage rides for December 14th and 15th. The 14th will be from 11 a.m. to 4, and the 15th, 11 to 3. I recommend you approve it.
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Chief. Go to C, Mr. Bishop Sewer Rehab Program.
I received today from our civil engineer from AEW, and this is in response to the sewer televising program that we had budgeted for to take place earlier. So going back through the city, televising all the sewer lines, and then what we're looking for things are cracks, breaks, infiltrations, areas where we can line the sewers. He came back with recommendations. One for open cut repairs is we're going to crack the ground, we're going to go and we're actually going to replace the pipe in its entirety. In the city right now, there were 9 areas ranging from medium, high priority to critical priority. I instructed the team that let's look at the critical priorities and take care of those as quick as we can. Take care of these. Okay, we're coming into colder weather and we'd like to get this taken care of. The estimated cost on this right now, well, I'll save that because I'm what I'm going to talk to you about here in a second. The recommendation from AEW, it's not that it's not expensive, but what I want to talk to you about is learning from some mistakes that we had on going with contractors we didn't know, contractors that we weren't familiar with, even though the references we called and they seemed to check out. So what I'd like to start taking into consideration is pre-qualifications for contractors. Contractors that meet certain pre-qualifications to do certain amount of work, that we can make sure that they get the email, the notification, and in things like open cut removals of sewer lines, that we would have pre-qualified contractors bidding on that work. In that way, we could say we know who the work is being sent to and letting those pre-qualified contractors take care of the, it'd still be a sealed bid. It'd still be private. You still have to come to City Hall. We still have to open the bid, but we would ensure that contractors that we'd pre-qualify are notified first. If we open the bid and they're not aligned with our contract, with our engineer's estimates, we can always crash the bid and then go to the open bid again and post it out. What I would like to do, and the recommendation of AEW, is that, and according to the charter, this is 6.11, if you guys would like to take a look. Charter allows that anything, well, it says anything over $10,000, we need competitive sealed bids. What we're asking to do, in this case for the sewer rehabilitation program, is to allow for private pre-qualified competitive sealed bidding. And in this way, we have Raymond Excavating, Murray Underground, and Cordis Brothers as the 3 recommended contractors that we'd anticipate sending these specs to and have them bid on. Right now, the estimates are coming in. He says, well, again, I don't want to throw the number out. Somebody's going to listen to this, and then they're going to hit that number, right? So, but the idea is that we can stay local. We pre-qualify the contractor, and then if we are not satisfied with the pre-qualified contractor's bids, then we open it up.
How do we qualify
So it's,
contractor? What's the criteria?
yeah, so what would be sent is a request for qualifications, RFQ, that Ryan would have to build up, submit, and say, we are saying you have to meet these qualifications for this types of jobs. There's scoring criteria involved, but we'd like to ensure that for this project, private pre-qualified competitive bidding's in place. And I need to, as a function of my role with the procurement process, I need to present it to the council. I cannot do that by myself. I'm making the recommendation that we do that, but it has to be a majority vote by this council to allow me to move forward, so I can move forward with a private pre-qualified competitive sealed bid.
Because right now we're limited to anybody and everybody can just submit a bid, and if they're the lowest bidder, then we have to go out and try and dequalify them or unqualify them if we're concerned with the bid.
And it's happened. I've called on a reference, didn't get a call back. They were the lowest bidder. They didn't get the work, though. They never called me back for my reference check. In other cases, we've gone with the lowest bidder on a project and wasn't satisfied with the results. So we're just trying to tighten it up. That's what we're trying to do.
I think it's a great idea, but why don't we do this with every project?
Well,
Pre-qualified contractors list?
Yeah, things you want to get done.
Yeah, it's double-edged sword, that's true. No, that's true. It is good, but it also, we got to keep the market honest. And some things you got to open it up, and you got to see when there's competition in the marketplace.
If you have certain things that you want to have done and you want to have them done a certain way, then you put qualifications out, they got to meet it, right?
100%.
Instead of finding out later that they didn't meet it.
Yeah, so like doing a road, right? Open it up. We know how roads go down. We know our contractors, who's going to bid for them for the roads, right?
But the lowest bidder may not want to do it, though. That's the issue.
Yeah. Well, it's happened. Yeah, we found out on a recent project, didn't we?
so, okay, so you got these 3 bidders that you may pre-qualify.
Yep.
You put out the bid. What if somebody who's not on that list decides, I'd like to bid on this?
They would have to have met the pre-qualification standards.
So so the door's closed on some of those.
So, Ms. Sturdy asked, well, how would they know? And the answer to that is that AEW would request for an RFQ, a request for qualifications, based on this project, saying we want qualifications based on what we're asking you to do. If you qualify, you will be in the pre-qualified list. What Ryan is suggesting is that based on the work that Raymond, Murray, and Cordis have done, they would pre-qualify for this job. Experience with underground, experience with municipalities, working with the city of St. Clair, having a track record of success, those types of things. Those are some basic qualifications. And so they would qualify based on how they would structure it.
So is your goal, not every project is going to be like this?
No. It's not. And for this one, because we're dealing with sanitary sewer lines, I don't want to go with the cheapest option because it's the cheapest option. I want to go with the best option by contractors we know we can hold accountable, and they have something to lose if it gets real sideways because they're local, they work here, they know us, right? It's a different relationship.
What kind of project would you say, yeah, we're going to do pre-qualify for this, but this project we're not going to pre-qualify?
Roads,
We're not pre-qualified.
I wouldn't pre-qualify roads. At this point, I mean, we have some people that, I don't want to throw out contractors' names, but like there's 3 or 4 contractors I know can put down a good road. It's not going to fail on us, and any one of them was an open bid, and they're all competitive. We do another infrastructure project where it's underground, it affects service lines, and it affects residents, then their ability to operate their utilities inside the home. I want to get it right. I want to get this one right, and I want to know who I'm talking to when I show up on the site and say, hey, we got problems here. I don't want to be put on a, we'll call so-and-so, and then I call and I leave a message, and nobody calls me back, and I call again, right? I want to put a little more pressure on the contractor, but also the contractor is going to respect the fact they're working for the city because they're from the city or in and around the city. A different relationship I'm going for here.
I think it's dangerous to get in a habit of having a short list of, say, 3 people.
I agree.
And I understand this scenario and why we're considering this. But, a year or 2 from now, if we're only taking bids from our 3 local people, and there's going to be a very good chance that 1 or 2 of those are too busy to take on a project, we may be looking at 1 bid or 2 bids. So that's the hole we don't want to go into. And we've been in that hole where we've had less bids than we want to. We don't want to be that city that plays favorites, and why would somebody waste hours and days bidding jobs when they're not going to get them or not even allowed to bid on them?
I agree.
So that's something we have to watch.
I agree. Maybe I'm just being a little overly sensitive about what's happened with our last infrastructure project. And knowing that these are critical priorities and we're about to crack open a sewer line, somebody's going to do it. And maybe it's just me wanting to make sure we get this right. But when I go back in the records and I look at the last emergency underground work that we had to do, one of those names is on the list here. Never had an issue with them. When we had to replace a sludge line at the wastewater treatment plant, person who got that job stroked the line down there, didn't even have to call. He just knew what had happened and he fixed it, right? It's that type of responsiveness. There's no pointing fingers. There's no it's somebody else's fault. It's none of that stuff. These are local guys who work for us. Now, Aaron, I will agree with you. If it gets out of hand and it becomes the pattern, then we're not an open market and it's not competitive and it looks really bad and it's not transparent work. I want to keep this as transparent as possible.
Correct.
I just know it's critical infrastructure and this has to get done. I just want to make sure it gets done the right way the first time.
I agree with that.
So let's say a contractor hears this conversation and says, well, I'm not one of the 3 that you listed. How do I get my name on the list?
Pre-qualify.
Yeah, but isn't AEW sending out all these notifications?
Yep, and we can send out the pre-qualification to those.
So how many people get the notification to be pre-qualified?
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean a number. What it means is whose response to the request for qualifications.
So the request goes out, how does that go out?
Same way a bid would go out.
So an email, I guess, or it just is
Email.
posted somewhere?
Posted on BidNet.
Okay.
We could post it. I'm actually going to lean into AEW.
Okay.
And ask, how are you going to be going about the mechanics of it?
And then the AEW is the one who makes the choices on the contractors that are pre-qualified, or
No.
is that your office?
No, we'll make the recommendations, and we will have an open bid or a sealed bid. Everybody will come back to the office.
No, my question is, I understand that part, but that's choosing from the people who are pre-qualified.
Yes.
Who chooses who is pre-qualified?
I make the recommendation to this council, and the council approves.
Of the list of pre-qualified contractors.
Oh, the list of pre-qualified contractors. No, AEW will make the recommendation of pre-qualified contractors, and there's those who will be sending the emails to.
I guess I just have a little hesitance, similar to what you're talking about, Aaron, and I'm not totally against it, but I'm not convinced to either. Isn't it AEW that's given us these contractors that we've had trouble with before in the past too?
No, those
That's
weren't
just from the bid
pre-qualified.
process?
It's from the bid process itself.
Okay.
So did Ryan Kern come to you with this idea?
Yes, you did.
Would it help if he came in here? Because I'm seeing I can see why I would not do it, but I can also see I got a little hesitation on this right now. Would it help to get Ryan in here and say, what's the skids on this thing, or you already?
Where is this practice used in other areas? I mean,
Happens all over the state, pre-qualified contractors.
for what kind of projects?
Same ones we're talking about. And if you, the larger municipalities you go, the tighter the qualifications become, Now, I'm not saying acting like we're not a metropolitan area, right? But pre-qualifying contractors is a common practice. This isn't. I'm not creating it right here, right now.
Yeah, I'm not accusing you of that at all.
So we're leaning on AEW. What is, I don't know what the right terminology is, but what are, who do they answer to? Like, what's keeping them in check on creating the list of who's qualified, who's not? Do they have certifications that they got to meet, that they're audited for? Who are they answering to? Who's making sure
How they become
that they're non-biased? You know what I mean? I just, and if there's something in place, then that would answer my question of, all right, well, they're being watched, right? They go through, they're doing the work, they're responsible for it. What are the penalties for them for getting it wrong, right? Is it financial, or is it financial and certification requirement from the state or government? And I think that backed by finding out who else is doing this and how it works. Just give us a greater understanding of why it's being done and how
Yeah.
safe it is
Yep.
at the end of the day.
I
Right?
agree with that. I also wonder what the convenience is going to cost us. Is there going to be an additional
Another
charge
fee
from AEW?
of, this is what I prefer.
Yep.
Or is this a cost-saving measures for them of, when we get burnt, they get burnt? So we don't want to get burnt again?
Maybe,
Just
yeah.
like you?
That may be,
So we would like to do this to keep from us having to write a
yeah,
check? up
our
and
interests
down?
are aligned in this.
Right, yeah. I
With
mean, when
theirs.
it goes bad, they lose money.
Yeah.
But I think Mayor Cedars, maybe if he comes in, just maybe answers a couple of these questions and give us a greater idea. Like the idea, sure.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
That's not a problem. We can call Ryan and we can get some more explanation. But I would like to plant that seed. I would like to see if these are the types of projects that we can look at. If it doesn't go this time, it doesn't go, but I want to know at least the ins and outs and that the option's on the table.
Because AEW is not making the selection, they're just narrowing down the funnel, right?
Correct.
Yes.
That's all they're doing. They're
correct.
saying, hey, you meet these qualifications, and you don't want to have one of the qualifications is that you have to live in St. Clair County or something like that. I mean, this is something that they have to meet. And once they meet those, then we make the selection,
Yep.
right?
Correct.
All right, then I'm thinking we don't have to vote on this. We'll just
Nope.
you can get with Ryan if he wants to come in and give us a little 5-minute spiel.
Now, what's the
about-
sensitivity on this? Does a decision have to be made in time for a bid to go out to get some work secured, or can we get this done at the next meeting?
I'm gonna have this.
Still
I'm
time?
gonna have this turned around by the next meeting.
Okay,
Yep. So we're gonna know, because regardless, if not, we're gonna put this thing out to bid and we're gonna go for it because, like I said, it's considered critical and
right,
it's gonna get cold. Pipes are gonna freeze. We're gonna have issues. So
thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, we will go to claim bid counts for November 6th and 14th, 2024.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve as presented.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll go to number 9, public comment, public questions. Anybody have any non-agenda items? Keep it to 3 minutes if you could, please. Go to number 10. Mayor and council have a couple of things out. Don't forget, Friday night, 6 o'clock, Santa Parade. Trash is next Friday. Next Friday's Thanksgiving. Have a good Thanksgiving. Offices are closed Thursday and Friday. Okay. Anybody have anything?
I'm just going to mention, the Marching Saints are marching in the parade in St. Clair on Friday, but also in the Thanksgiving Day Parade in Detroit on Thursday.
Yeah.
If you want to come down there, we'll be down there by 7:15 in the morning.
I'll see you there.
If you just, it's an electric atmosphere in Detroit that morning. But if you're just going to stay home and watch us from the comfort of your home, around 11 a.m. we'll be on the broadcast.
Good job.
That's cool.
Good job, Micah.
That's fun.
I heard there-
Sorry, one more thing, if I may. With the approval of Chief Raker, we need to stretch these kids' legs out a little bit to prepare for that parade, because if you know Detroit, it starts on Woodward up by the DIA and ends at Campus Martius. So they're going to be marching for well over an hour in that parade. So on Tuesday, the 27th, about 12:30, we're going to practice through the neighborhoods of Delano, and this is for residents as well as anybody. You're invited to come watch our rehearsal parade. It'll be about an hour long, through the Delano subdivisions. We're crossing Kearney two times, so you'll see us going across there. But 12:30 or so on Tuesday, the 27th.
Good job, good luck.
Thanks.
That'd be fun. Belts?
I heard a local gentleman named Bill called 97.1 after the football game the other night,
Maybe,
talking about their fine win in our fine town.
could be. Where do you hear this stuff?
Is that on the radio?
Don't listen to that stuff.
Nice.
I don't like the way they treated that one kid. Anyway, anybody else? Okay. Report, what do you got to say over there?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Okay, you guys, have a good night, everybody. Be careful, be safe.